Kisiuk Wislam, Kisiuk Kukit, Kisiuk Quiet, Kapiniskish. Hello everyone, my name is Kinshukit Teshmiet, and I am your host. Welcome back to another wonderful Warrior Wednesdays. I'm your host, Peter White. And I really learned this pretty simple technique. And I've been doing it these past few days. Especially when driving around. Just driving around the city, doing things. I notice, even though I'm mindful a lot of the times, that I'll clench my teeth or I'll get a little bit aggravated. And that's how most people are. It's just how we subconsciously are when we drive. So this technique that I learned, I actually learned it listening to the Andrew Huberman show. Andrew Huberman show. And I've been listening to a lot of his podcasts lately. And there's some pretty interesting things on it. And he talks about breathing. In my very, very first podcast, my very, very first episode was mindfulness. So I thought maybe we would touch base on mindfulness and how breathing can simply just relax you. It can do wonders. If you have been taking cold showers, like I still do at the end of every shower, breathing will actually allow you to stay in the water longer. It actually makes the water not feel as cold if you breathe a certain way. But if you tense up and you go and you clench and you hold everything in, the water's gonna feel more cold. Because you're breathing and then also that triggers that fight or flight feeling of, and you don't breathe. You're putting your body into shock. And this breathing technique that I'm going to talk about here in a second, it's actually the opposite of putting your body into fight or flight mode. And it can actually reduce stress, significant amount of stress. They talk about stress and how stress can cause diseases. Stress can do crazy things to the body. Stress, holding on to stress can do harmful things to your body. It can create sicknesses, create diseases. It can literally give you headaches. It can bring pain into your life. Stress is something that everyone deals with. But there are good stresses and they're bad stresses. Going to the gym, working out, stretching, doing yoga. Those are stresses, but those are good stresses on the body. And I'm a big, as you know, I'm a big admirer. Like I stretch every day. I lift weights. I work out. I put my body under stress. Like David Goggins says, he puts his body under excruciating amounts of stress. So when he gets a hard phone call that his mother has passed on, or someone that he loves has passed on, he's done the hard work. He's pushed himself through stress. He's done these things in the gym that he can actually, move on with life eventually. He can work through it. He would take time to grieve and things like that, but he would ultimately be able to push and move on sooner than holding on to it for years. I've talked about it before. I did a story time about someone holding on to, an earring. But say I grabbed a glass of water, and I held it there for a minute. Now, I wouldn't notice very much. But say I picked up that same glass and I held on to it for 5 minutes, I would start to notice the glass. And then say I pick up that glass and I hold on to it for 2 weeks, a month, a year. Well, eventually there's going to be pain that starts to shoot up my arm, on my fingers, my arm, my whole body, and my body's going to be overtaken with that pain. And that's what we do in society. We hold on to things too long. And the only person is affecting is ourselves. It's only affecting you by holding on to a grudge. I guarantee you 9 out of 10 times when we hold on to grudges from things that people have done, they have already forgotten about it and moved on. So you're sitting there holding this pain, this anger, this stress, and they don't even know. They're not even aware of it. They're living their life, and you're sitting there hurting. Where does that logically make sense? Just think about that for a second. This person that hurt you, they've moved on. They're not hurting, but you're the one that's hurting, expecting them to hurt just like you hurt, but they don't. So logically, that doesn't make sense. You're only the one who's being affected in that. And this breathing technique, I've been doing it, and it's honestly done wonders for me. So if you have a second or two to do this breathing technique with me right now, let's try it out. So what you're going to do is inhale, and then after you fill your lungs up full of air, you're going to take a little bit extra of a gulp of air. And then you're going to release that air nice and slow, slower than you breathe in. So I'll show you how it goes for the first time. So even doing that twice just makes me feel so calm. So I want you to breathe through your nose. Breathe through your nose in. Our nose has nose hairs for a reason. It collects the dust, all the things in the air, and breathing through your nose is what the way we were meant to breathe. And then when you breathe out of your mouth. So on the count of 3, let's take a breath. 1, 2, 3. One more. How do you feel? I know I feel calm. I feel relaxed. It's pretty powerful on how breathing can affect your life. It can affect your reality in this moment. So I've been doing this breathing throughout the day. So I challenge you this week, every hour, set an alarm on your phone. And every hour when your alarm goes off, take a couple seconds to breathe like that throughout your day. And then I want you to track how you start to feel throughout your days. Because I've been doing this and I feel calm. Like I feel good. Like I feel just like Hakuna Matata. You know, Hakuna Matata, ain't no worries. That's how I feel. Like if Hakuna Matata was a breathing technique, this would be that breathing technique. Like, look, I can't even talk right now. I'm so relaxed. And if you start to incorporate this way of breathing, just imagine how much more joy you'll have throughout the day. And I actually even tried this breathing technique while taking a cold shower. And it works. It literally made the water not feel as cold. Because, you know, I still dread turning that shower cold. I still dread it every time. Like I try to talk myself out of it and say, hey, you know, next time we jump in, we'll do it. But at the very end, I'm like, no, I'm in charge of you, mind. You're not in charge of me. I'll tell you what to do. And I actually, before I turned the water cold, I started to breathe like this. And then I turned that water cold. And when that cold water hit me, it wasn't as bad. And now I've been doing that every day when I take a shower. I've been doing these breathing techniques when I do this cold shower. And it's pretty relaxing. It honestly is. So if you're someone who has been doing the cold showers, try this before you turn that water cold. And then I want you to, you know, if you're watching this on YouTube, I want you to comment in the section if this has helped you with your cold showers. I want to see if it's helped you as well. But I know it's helped me. And even with driving and things like that throughout the day, I just do this breathing technique. And I just, it's wonderful. It's been doing amazing things for me, you know, and even today, I didn't stress. And this is the latest I've ever recorded my podcast. It is literally 8:14 p.m. Tuesday night. I've been pretty busy all afternoon, all evening, doing a bunch of things, you know, working on new regalia, and I wasn't stressing because I've been breathing this way. And I knew I could get to the podcast and I can do it and I'll upload it and everything is going to be okay. Hakuna Matata. So, breathing. Start to pay attention to how you breathe throughout the day. If you're feeling anxious and if you suffer with anxiety, give this breathing technique a try. Because I guarantee if you are feeling anxious and you're having anxiety, you are most likely breathing into your chest. When you breathe, you need to breathe into your diaphragm, your belly, because that releases that fight or flight mode. And when you breathe into your chest, it's shallow, concentrated, like triggering breaths. You need to learn how to breathe into your diaphragm and your belly. And then how I've done that is I just literally sit there and feel my hand on my belly go up and down. And another easy way to do it is just lay down on the ground. When I meditate, when I first started meditating, that's what I would do. I would lay on the ground and have my hands on my belly. And I would just focus on pushing my hands up with my belly. And I would do that when I first started to meditate. And that's how I learned how to breathe into my diaphragm, into my stomach. Those deep breaths, those deep soothing breaths. So share this technique with someone you know who suffers with anxiety. Or share this podcast with someone you know that suffers from anxiety, because this might actually help them deal with the situation that they're going through in that moment. So with that, I'm going to cut this podcast a little bit shorter than I usually do. I still got a busy night to go ahead of me. I got to edit this podcast and get it up so all you wonderful folks can tune in and try out this breathing technique. So on Winnegit, Dagas, I'll see you next Wednesday, all my wonderful warriors. And remember, everything always happens for the right reasons. Take care.